Okay, as promised, we are going to go over these 1.4 practice problems here. So our first problem, we left off at number 7. You've got the radical 6 that you're going to distribute. So you're going to multiply under the radical 6 times 5, and that's going to give you a radical 30. And then let's see, we've got radical 6 times 5, radical 10. That will give us a 5 in front, and then 6 times 10, radical 60. Okay, and then let's see if we can simplify this. So we want to think about what multiplies to 30. You've got 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, none of which are perfect squares. So that's not going to simplify. For 60, I think 4 goes into 60. That would be 4 and 15. And 4 is a perfect square. So I'm going to separate this into my two factors, 4 and 15. Okay, take the square root of the perfect square, so that'll be a 2. And then I want to bring this 5 down, so that's 5 times 2. So then this is going to be a radical 30 plus 5 times 2, 10, radical 15. And since those numbers are not the same under the radical, we stop there. All right, next problem, let's see. We've got -2 radical 80 plus 5 radical 245. So what we want to do is we want to find a perfect square that's going to go into 80. So let's see. I'm going to start with maybe 49. I know that's not going to go in. So 36 does not work. 80 divided by 25, no. 80 divided by 16. Ah, that works. So 16 times 5. And then I'm going to put my radicals. Then I'm going to take the square root of the perfect square. So square root of 16 is 4. Bring down the number in front. That's a -2. So -2 times 4 will give us a -8, radical 5. Okay, then I'm going to take care of the 245. So let's see, 245, I'm going to start with maybe 121. So 245 divided by 121 does not work. 245, we know 100 is not going to work. So what's that? 9 squared would be 81. No. 64. No. 245 divided by, let's see, 7 squared, 49. Ah, that works. So it's going to be 49 and 5. Move these over here so we can see them. So square root of 49 times square root of 5 would give me that 245. Take the square root of 49, which is 7, and then bring that 5 down. So you're doing 5 times 7, that's going to give you 35, radical 5. And there's a plus sign in between, so bring that down. Now, because these radicals are exactly the same, now you can do -8 plus 35. So that's going to give you 27, radical 5. Okay, then we have number 9. So we're going to write 2 copies of this, and then we're going to FOIL it. So I'm just going to cross out that squared there, and I'm going to write another copy. All right, so I'm going to go radical 5 times radical 5. That's going to give me radical 25. Root 5 times negative root 8, so negative radical 40. Same thing for the insides. And then, let's see, negative times negative will be a positive, and 8 times 8 will give us 64. So you've got your 2 perfect squares here. Square root of 25 is going to be 5. Square root of 64 is going to be a positive 8. And then here, we can combine these. It's a -1 minus 1, so that's a -2 radical 40. Combine the 5 plus 8, so that's a 13. And, okay, 13, 5 plus 8 is 13, and then minus 2, radical 40. And then finally, see if you can simplify this perfect square. So, or 40, if there is a perfect square that goes in, which there is, you have 4 and 10. So you would go 4 times 10, take the square root of the perfect square, 2. Okay, bring down the other 2, multiply those two numbers. So 2 times 2 will give you a 4, radical 10, and then bring down the 13 and the minus sign. So 13 minus 4, radical 10. And then for the last problem, we are going to multiply by the complex conjugate. So what we're going to do here is we're going to multiply by the denominator, 7, but we're going to change the sign in the middle. So 7 minus radical 8 on both the top and the bottom. So in the top, I've got, let's see, 3 times 7 will give me a 21. 3 times radical 8 will give me a negative 3, radical 8. My insides, I'm going to get a positive 7, radical 7. And then this will give me a negative root 56. All right, and then let's simplify this. So the radical 8, I can pull a 4 times 2 out of that. 4 times 2 gives me 8. Keep it under the radical. Then take the square root of 4, which is 2. There was a number in front, so I'm going to bring that down. 3 times 2 will give me a 6, radical 2. Okay, bring down the 21. And let's see, 7 radical 7, that's not going to simplify. 56, let's see, do we have a perfect square that goes into 56? I think 4 and 14 is going to work for that one. So you have 4 times 14. Take the square root of 4, which is 2. So it's going to be minus 2 radical 14. Okay, and then I have no like terms, so that's my numerator. So let's go ahead and do the denominator. Since they are the same thing, except the middle sign is opposite, I can just do first and last. So I'm going to go 7 times 7 would give me a 49. Then radical 8 times negative radical 8 gives me negative square root of 64, which is just 8. So 49 minus 8 gives me 41. So that's my denominator. So my answer to this problem is going to be 21 minus 6 radical 2 plus 7 radical 7 minus 2 radical 14 all over 41. And that's it for the practice problems. Thank you for watching.